Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LFC Transfer Room live stream with myself and Patricio. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday evening. Couple of bits of housekeeping before we get into a couple of the topics that we have for you guys today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure to hit that notification bell when you have liked and subscribed so that you never miss out on any future content or streams. We've just released this evening a very exclusive interview with John Achtenberg, who is the former Liverpool head goalkeeping coach. It's about a 45-minute long interview. Myself and Charlie interviewed him. It's absolutely fantastic. It's on our YouTube channel as well. It's also on all major streaming platforms. Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, you can find it all there. Goes through so many different topics, basically all goalkeeper based, so it's right up my alley. Spoke about how we almost got Manuel Neuer when he was with Schalke, that he was one of the targets. How Achtenberg also thought that we had, or still have, technically, since we still have all of them, we haven't sold any of them, the best goalkeeping squad in the world, with Alisson as number 1, Kelleher as number 2, and then you have from 3 to 5 then with Davies, Pitaluga and Yaros there as well. He also mentioned Adrian, and just a number of other topics on that as well. So make sure to get into that and make sure that you go and give that a watch and give that a like as well, please. It's very much appreciated. It's a great interview. We had great fun with him. But without further ado, we'll jump into the topics that we have today. And we didn't necessarily have much of a chat post-game following the 3-0 victory over Bournemouth. So we'll get into that a little bit now. So following the 3-0 victory against Bournemouth, this comes after the 3-1 victory as well, Patricio, against AC Milan away. And both of these results come off the back of a 1-0 loss to Nottingham Forest. Was that somewhat the wake-up call that we needed? And was that basically the sort of fire that might be lit under us that'll get us going at least until the next international break? If we go undefeated between this international break and the next one, and then lose one game after that again, and then go undefeated after that, I don't think I'll complain about that. Would you?
No, I think that was definitely the wake-up call we needed. You can tell that coming back from international break, our players were slow to begin with in the Forest game. We kind of thought we could walk past them, pass it around slowly, take too much time on the ball, and then obviously in the end it cost us as well in that game. We started to wake up a bit more in the Milan game, and obviously it paid off for us in the end. And then you can tell we were we sort of did the same thing yesterday, where we started off a bit we took too much time on the ball, playing it around the back, making mistakes. Hence why, luckily, an offside goal to begin with from Bournemouth. But thankfully, we actually, from that point, played so much better. After the 22nd, 23rd minute, we started to switch on a bit. I did feel like a couple times Kelleher was messing around with the ball a bit too much at the back. I know he thinks he's got time, but sometimes you just got to get out your feet. And same with Kanate as well, although he did make 2 ridiculously good passes, obviously one for the assist. But yeah, no, I think once we got into the game after the 23rd minute, I was confident we're going to do really well.
Yeah, as was I. I after the first goal went in, even in the lead up to the first goal, I said it myself in the group chat. I was like, it's coming. It's going to come now very shortly. And I think that was on the 20th minute that I said that. And then Diaz gets that absolutely glorious goal. Kepa cost Chelsea £80 million, just so 80 million euros, should I say, just so everybody's aware. But with that, it's one of them that it's just, once the first goal went in, I was kind of like, oh, okay, now let's go get a second one. And then a couple of minutes later, Diaz goes and grabs the second one. It was between him and Darwin Nunez, 2 players that last season gathered a lot of ire and frustration from fans at the lack of their end product. Diaz has now nearly totaled his previous season's goal contributions tally already, and it's only been 6 games into the season. How have you reacted to his form so far, and were you impressed at all with how Darwin Nunez done in his first start as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think Diaz played amazing. He's getting into form now. I think he's seeing the competition from Gakpo. He knows that someone's there to challenge him this time around the left wing. So I think he sees it as, Joe, what, I've got to get my ass in gear and do well, as he switched on, he seems a bit more confident, he's getting around players. I thought this last season, he was a bit too predictable on his right foot. Players knew that. Same with Gakpo a bit, but they're using their like change of pace to get past players, and the silky feet as well that Diaz used yesterday to get out of a sticky situation. Which then obviously scored. He's trying things as well. He's putting in the effort to try score more goals, and that's good. And Darwin's trying as well. Like you can see, he's trying a bit better to stay on side, make better runs. Cut like he's not so much in the build-up play as he was under Klopp's team anymore.
Yeah.
But it's good, you want their Darwin to be sort of the poacher, his last man there just to get the goals. And yeah, I think he's doing fantastic as well. I feel like the goal for Darwin Nunez was a sense of relief for him because he hasn't scored in 14 games. I think that's now taking a weight off his shoulders there. So I think we're going to see a much better Darwin Nunez and Diaz this season, and I'm actually excited for it.
Yeah, as am I. I was one of the people that was always fighting Darwin Nunez's corner last season, and when people wanted him gone, I was one of the very few that was saying, no, there's a player there, we need to keep him. If Slot can do half of what he done with Gimenez that he done with Feyenoord, if he could do half of what he done there, we've a monster, because Darwin Nunez is a bigger, faster, stronger, more physical and more skilled player than Gimenez is. So if he can even work half of the magic that he done there, we've an absolute monster of a 9 on our hands. And I could easily see him bagging 30 goals this season, especially if he's on that type of confidence and happiness that he's just there. I think something that actually was brought in during the summer, and I think it's actually paying massive dividends, is the club psychologist. They brought in a psychologist for him, and I think others as well, obviously. And he looked very sort of disjointed and a bit meh towards the end of the season last season, as did many of the players. Like it was the end of an era, it was the end of Klopp. Everybody was a bit upset and meh. It is what it is, and you understood that. But then people were like, oh, I don't like Nunez's attitude. And then the whole thing with the Copa America and going into the crowd for his family and everything, that just added on top of it. And similarly last season with Diaz, when his parents got kidnapped, like that's another thing like not a lot of people seem to take into a factor too, is his parents were kidnapped into the fucking jungle, like, and he then goes and scores against Luton for us literally a couple of days later. And the mental fortitude for that alone is ridiculous. And now to see him on this form this season is absolutely fantastic. And I think Darwin Nunez will be very, very, very dangerous going forward. Now, I don't think he'll play next week now against West Ham. I think we'll probably see heavy rotation. Everybody other than probably Kelleher may get changed. They may leave a couple of people on for 20 minutes at the start, but I can see nearly a brand new 11 being played that day.
Definitely a weaker side.
Yeah. But like if you think about it, West Ham have conceded first in 4 of their 5 Premier League games. If we can't go there, or if we can't bring them to our house and beat them, I'd be a little bit upset. And there's some people that would say that maybe the EFL Cup isn't a priority. And in my own opinion, probably isn't the biggest one. But if we're going to get knocked out of it, I'd rather get knocked out by a City or an Arsenal or somebody of that ilk. That's just a
worthy opponent.
Yeah, like that kind of a way. It's like, okay, fair enough. You can understand. We lost to City. It's fine. First year, look, we don't really have to worry about. But then losing at home to a West Ham team that have just conceded goals for fun this season is and look woeful under their new management. It's not something that I could see. If we get through this round and get a horrid draw next round, fine. Bin the EFL. I could care less about it. So go for the FA Cup and go for the Champions League and focus on the big 3, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Would you be of a similar opinion to that, or do you want us to be competing for all 4 trophies, or is there a rank that you have for them?
No, I think what you said is perfect. Like, it makes sense, makes the most sense there. I think we should definitely try, but I think with West Ham, like you said, they've conceded goals for fun. They've just lost 3-0 to Chelsea as of yesterday. That maybe for the new manager, this sort of this trophy isn't maybe what he wants to strive for. So we could potentially see this as not an easy game, but a game that we shouldn't have to like put our strongest players on.
Yeah.
I do kind of agree with you. I think Simicast we played. I definitely see maybe like Gakpo maybe getting a start, and probably Jota as well. I feel like Szoboszlai's getting a bit tired though, so he might start like Jones or something, which is a bit of a shame. I
Yeah.
would have liked to see RB Elliott, but have to wait till he comes back off injury.
Yeah.
But no, I fully agree with you. I think there are definitely more important trophies and things to focus on, which I think Slot's working on perfectly. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think the loss to Nottingham Forest, I feel like our players just took it too easy, and they should have done better. They could have done better, and now I think that's given them the right sort of kick at the bum to sort of
Yeah.
make them focus. So yeah, I don't see us sort of making those mistakes again. That makes sense.
No, completely does make sense. To be honest, a lot of people found it as an unacceptable result. I didn't,
Mhm.
and maybe I'm in the minority of a camp of that. It's just one of them games. We had 70% possession. We created a load of chances. We just couldn't finish them. We were ahead of them on the expected goals tally, and it just was one of them that every team has that game. Every team has that game. And look, it just put salt in the
Yeah.
wound that it was at home and it was within the first couple of weeks. But people were turning on Slot immediately, and I was like, fuck,
Oh no.
like it's the most stupid thing in the world. And then 3 days later we go and we absolutely run Milan out of their stadium, out of the San Siro, and keep our undefeated record in the San Siro too in the Champions League, which is
Yeah.
nuts. It's because that's a
Yeah.
fortress in itself.
Yeah, I don't blame Slot at all. I think it was definitely the players' mindset of coming back off international break. I think it's sort of on the players as well. Just not Slot. I think he's done
Yeah.
perfectly. Like, what was it? So he's 3 games not conceding a goal, all wins, like 7 goals up. Is from those 3 games when we started with. That's the sort of and was it? I can't remember the fact that it was, but it was like he's one of the managers to do that out of like was it like Paisley or something?
Yeah.
Can't remember the other manager.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't think people should turn on him for one bad game to Nottingham Forest. I definitely think it was the players.
It just had bogey game written all over it, realistically. It's like
Yeah.
we were walking in off a high of the 3-0 victory away to Man United, mind you, at Old Trafford.
Hmm.
We were all on a high from that game. And then we walk in to Anfield thinking we're Billy Big Bollocks, and then we kind of just fall apart against a Nottingham Forest team that we should have handily beat as well. And I think that was probably, I think Slot absolutely ruined the lads in the dressing room after the game, where he basically turned around and said, we've had 70% possession. We were creating chances left and right. Actually, out of sheer curiosity, I want to know the exact numbers on the XG on that. Give me 1 second. I want to have a look at that now.
Okay.
Because that is something that would be very interesting, because the game against Bournemouth, we were 1.98 XG, and we outperformed that. Apologies, we were 2.06, and we obviously outperformed that by 1. But I just want to see what it was.
0.94 for us.
Jesus, 0.94 and 0.44 for them. So
Yeah.
there you go, like 14 shots to 5 shots, and we had 1 big chance and they had 2. It's just unfortunately it's one of them games that it happens. And if you ever found out about how Liverpool recruited Jurgen Klopp, they went in and they actually spoke to him about expected goals, and how in the season before he joined us with Dortmund, there was a couple of games where they should have won 3 or 4-0, but they lost 1 or 2-0. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ian Graham that was speaking to Klopp, and he basically was saying, this game where your expected goals was this, you're just really unlucky. And Klopp was like, oh, you must have watched that game. So Ian Graham had never watched a game of Dortmund at all the previous season, but he was able to connect with Klopp on the XG side of it, being like, you were really unlucky. We read into the numbers of it. You shouldn't have lost that game at all. If anything, you guys should have been finishing top 4 in the Bundesliga, and they finished like 7th or 8th or something like that. But this is an interesting question actually from John, and I'll throw it over to yourself, Patricio. Do you think Tyler Morton and Chiesa get their starts? I think Tyler Morton might get a start. He'll be alongside. It'll be him, Jones, and then I don't know who's going to play the 10. That's the more difficult question. Actually, we're here forgetting Wataru Endo. It'll be Endo, Jones, and Morton, I feel, would probably be the three. Would you be the same, or would you be different?
No, I think I fully agree. I think you need to rest. They're definitely gonna rest Gravenberch and probably Salah as well, 'cause he's a bit too tired, a bit of too fatigue, and definitely with McAllister. Yeah, I reckon I agree with you. They'll change all three of those as well. Definitely bring Morton on.
And then up front, I'd have Gakpo, Jota, Chiesa. They're just left to right. That'd be my front three.
Yes, I fully agree. Yeah, I think Chiesa definitely needs to start. And although it's the EFL Cup, I think it will give him a boost of confidence as well.
Oh,
you can see how he was of yesterday. I feel. Do you know what's funny though? I think that the subs that Slot made weren't the correct sort of subs. I would have said at 60th minute mark, bring Salah off, bring Chiesa on, because I think Diaz could have potentially got a hat trick yesterday. And then Darwin. Yeah, to be fair, I do like the fact that he did bring Gakpo on the left, but I did actually think that Diaz should have stayed. So I think the only change I would have made yesterday was Chiesa on the right instead of Salah after the 60th minute mark.
I don't see Chiesa's played so many games through the middle as well. He's fine to play across the front three, so that's the perk of his flexibility there. And his first touch was a fucking screamer from 40 yards out. If that went in, I would have had an accident. Genuinely, if that was his first touch at Anfield in a Liverpool shirt and that was the goal he scored, I think he would have been crowned signing of the season on the spot. It would have been nuts, absolutely nuts. I think we all would have lost our head in the group chat.
25 yards out, wasn't it?
It was more than 25. He was about 10 yards past the semicircle on the top of the keeper's box. He was really far.
That would have been a ridiculous shot.
He's about 30 yards or more out, and he just lashed it. And I was like, there's no way this goes in. And then the keeper saved it, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. It was fantastically beautiful. Oh, stop. I wouldn't have been able to be found for a week. That would have been that would have been goal of the season, and it would have been his first touch. It would have been nuts.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what he does. I really am.
Yeah. I'm very excited, and it really seems like he's just happy to be there. He's just very, what's the word? He's just content. He's happy. He's looking about the place like he's a kid in living out his dream. And obviously, the rumors came out about what his dad said to him, and his dad said, "It's Liverpool. Go. Don't even second guess it. Go." And he didn't, and that's the fantastic part of it. Before we jump on to the next topic, just going to ask everybody to make sure to like and subscribe. If you haven't done so already, make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out. We have our exclusive interview with John Achtenberg, the former Liverpool head goalkeeping coach, with myself and Charlie interviewing him in a video on our YouTube channel. It's about 45 minutes of a podcast. It's also available on your streaming platforms such as Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Music. So make sure that you give that a listen and give it a like and a rating and a 5-star rating while you're at it if you're listening to it on either streaming platforms. We very much appreciate that. But on to the second, the more or less the last topic, because there's only myself and Patricio. It's a Sunday evening, and we'll kind of relax and maybe have a beer later on to finish off the evening. I know I will be, because I'll be watching American football in about an hour's time, so I can't wait for that. But Sepp, we'll talk about Sepp, and then we'll actually talk about Trent's comments as well. So we might go a little bit longer. So Sepp has maybe blasted Liverpool a little bit in stating like he wasn't looked after. He felt that he was ready back in 2021. He understood he wasn't going to be able to be ahead of Konate, Van Dijk, Matip. Thought he could be right behind them. And then when he didn't really get much of a spot when he came back, he just said, I want to leave, figure it out. And that he feels that Liverpool may have hindered his future. Would you be in agreement with that? Or is this just a situation of a player was never really ready and just never broke through? Or was there any, so is there any party to blame in this, or is there blame on both sides?
I think there's sort of a blame of expectation. I think he expected to, like, he thought he was better than where he maybe was at the time. I think if he had reined in his attitude a bit and had a different way of thinking, then maybe he could have been like, do you know what? I do want to break through. They are sending me on loan, but if I perform well, they can see that, which they did this season. They did see that. He did perform well in Mainz, and that was told to him. But I think since 2021, he felt the grudge. So maybe he felt that he can't break in. But I feel like if he had that different mindset, if he was willing to learn from Van Dijk and Konate and Matip, then he may have made his breakthrough. You didn't see quotes like this coming from Kwanzaa where he felt like he was being held back or anything. I know the sense of like we've put that 20 mil value on him, but obviously someone at the club, there's this team that have valued him at that for a reason based off how he's performed. So if he doesn't think that he's worthy enough to be valued at that, then that's on him. But if he's performing to that value and we can sell him for that price, then he should be. Then so we can move him on. I think it's definitely more of an attitude of it, like that. That's the situation. He kind of needs like Lenny Yoro, a bit like him, where he wants that start. He wants to be playing all the time, but what he needs to think is, I'm young, I can learn, and then I'll get my opportunities if I do well enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely that.
That's exactly what was my thoughts as well. Is you seem to be crying. He seems to be crying a little bit about it now that he's off from Brentford. It's like, you've got your start, you're getting your minutes. We've given you your fresh opportunity. I think there's blame on both sides. Maybe we mismanaged it, but as you said, attitude could have been a problem. There could have been any sort of number of problems. And again, I don't think it really helped his case. I think he would have been with the team if not for Kwanzaa breaking out last season. I think genuinely that would have been the situation. I think Kwanzaa breaking out last season probably put him back another step, which just scuppered everything and left him out to dry at that point. So it's a hard one to judge, really, because Sepp is a good player. He was one of the best young centre backs in the Bundesliga last season with Mainz, and that can't be refuted because he was, and he really, really, really is a good special little player. But I don't see where he would have fit into this team. He would have been 5th choice centre back and 3rd choice, if not 4th choice, right back. Behind Gomez on both situations. So realistically, I don't know, man. It was a lose for everybody, I feel, in this situation, unfortunately. And I just think that Sepp just feels slighted that he could have been let go years ago, not now when he's 24. And I get that, but like, players play till they're 40 now. You've plenty of time left, my man. You're grand. It's just one of them things that I just think nobody was going to come out a winner on. It was just going to be messy, no matter what way we looked at it. But we're going to move on now to Trent's interview with The Athletic. And now I don't know if it was with specifically The Athletic, but he was talking to an awful lot of reporters. And we just have a quick look at some of the quotes that were there. Before we get into that, though, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure to have your notifications on for our future streams and videos, and make sure to like and watch that interview with John Achterberg, former Liverpool goalkeeping coach that myself and Charlie have done a podcast on. And yes, let's all laugh at Arsenal, because that was a hilarious game. Absolutely priceless. I thought it was just funny, and that was the best result realistically for us as well, getting a draw. And City are now only 1 point ahead on the same games played. So that's it's just the best way to have it, because I couldn't suffer listening to Arsenal fans being all mouthy and lippy that they're sat top of the table and we beat City away. Oh, shut up! You're not finishing inside the top 4. I'm calling it now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, I've said it from the start. Arsenal are not finishing inside the top 4, and Chelsea are finishing bottom half of the table. That's just how it's going to be. I know for a fact it is. And people were saying that, Arsenal, their depth, and then everybody kind of looked at their depth and they were like, oh. And I was like, yeah, if a couple of them get injured, they're pretty fucked. And then all of a sudden, Marino gets injured, Odegaard gets injured, Rice got suspended. Now Trossard is suspended. Jorginho has gotten suspended as well, and he's missing I think it's an EFL Cup game. I can't remember. He's missing the game against Bolton. I think that's the game he's missing. And then now you have and all of them were playing with 10 men down. They've just come off a Champions League game. They're going to be playing again midweek, and they've had to put in a massive shift where they basically had to defend for 45 minutes, because I think in the second half, City had 98% possession, as opposed to 2% for Arsenal. So games like this will hinder Arsenal massively, and it is. And now, in fairness, they do have Leicester next in the league, but watch them go and lose that game, and just the head loss everywhere will be absolutely hilarious. But we'll go on to a couple of comments from Trent. So before we jump into them, actually, Patricio, I just want to get your thoughts on how likely on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not likely at all, 10 being he's going to get signed tomorrow, how on that scale, how likely do you think Liverpool are going to get his contract over the line?
Likely to, I would like to say a 7 to 8, I think. I think more so an 8. I personally think it'll get done. I don't think his head's been turned by Madrid, although the offer is not, although there hasn't been an offer, but the thought of like Real Madrid wanting you is probably in his head a bit, thinking I'm performing that well to be on their radar. But to think he's Liverpool through and through, come through the academy, is doing well for us now. He's only 25, definitely got many more years in him, and he's commented saying that he wants to be the future captain, and kissing the camera like Steven Gerrard just shows that his love for Liverpool. I don't see him going to Madrid, although that's my thoughts on it. To be fair,
the only way I see him, the only way I see him going to Madrid is if he asks for ridiculous money, and we're like, no. And by ridiculous money, I mean $500,000 a week, like that level of it. He can go and get that at Madrid, and as much as people will probably not like me for saying it, that's not how we operate. Salah isn't even on that, and Trent could very easily get Salah's wage, which is $1 million a week, through bonuses, which is the great way, because our bonus system is the best in the world. Our wages might not be, but our bonus system is. And with Trent, he's going to have an assist bonus, a clean sheet bonus, a win bonus, a match bonus, a trophy bonus, a goal bonus. He's going to have every type of bonus that there is. And if he hits certain milestones, team of the season, if he has passes over whatever percentage and how many crosses is successful and all that shit, the amount of stuff that's put into these bonuses is nuts. So he could very, very easily make up the difference in bonuses. But some of the comments that he came out with were obviously very telling. As he said, he said that I always want to be captain of the club. It's an aim of mine and a goal of mine, and whether that happens is out of my hands, to be honest, which is essentially it is. He's not wrong in that. Paul Joyce said a game of cat and mouse now ensues with Richard Hughes, and who has inherited a situation not of his making, attempting to strike what is best for the club and the players, none of whom appear to want to leave. Seeking to secure the best for themselves. So if Paul Joyce is saying none of whom appear to want to leave, that means Van Dijk doesn't want to leave, that means Salah doesn't want to leave, and that means Trent doesn't want to leave. So it's now on the club to pony up the cash. And as I said, outside of them demanding ridiculous fees, I think all three of them get done. And if all three of them get done before January, that'll be absolutely fantastic. Trent then had some comments on Arne Slot and how he coaches and how he goes about things, and he said that he found it very, very interesting. So he was saying that bear with me just one second, I'll find it here. He said he talked about targets and aims, and I said to him I would like to be the best defender in Europe that no one wants to come up against. And he also went on to say about how he was very meticulous in sitting down and showing him 20 different videos of how he could be better in this, that, and the other situation, and that Trent said he loves to learn, and that that's the way he wants to be coached. So I think we've already struck gold here in the manager on that methodical side of things. So it's literally a matter of time now. Talks are currently ongoing, as far as I am aware, with the club at the minute. So it's one of them that it's just a matter of time at this point, and I reckon it'll be done by the next international break, in my opinion. I'd be a 9 on a scale on all three of them. I'd be a 9 on a scale of how close they are to being done. But with Van Dijk and Salah, would you be in a similar position as a sort of a 7-8, or would you be higher on one or lower on another?
I think Van Dijk and Salah will probably be on a 9. To be fair, now that you've kind of explained it that way, I do think they're more 9s and 10s, but on all three of them. And you said it before on another stream that as soon as they see Trent get done, it'll be a formality for Van Dijk and Salah to get done as well. You can tell that they have no desire to want to leave the club at all, especially from what they've shown. They're bringing up the contract situation, not to say, oh, I'm not getting a contract, I'm looking elsewhere. They're sort of saying, oh, it hasn't happened yet, talks haven't happened yet, but I'm hoping it gets done. And you can see that from the players. They don't look like their heads are turning anywhere else. So, I think they'll all get done.
Yeah, I think as what I did say in another stream ages ago is that Trent is going to be the first domino to fall, and the second that Salah and Van Dijk see, oh, he's committing to this project, he's clearly into this project, right? Well, let's keep the big three, let's keep the gang together, and we'll go for it again over the next couple of years. And that Saudi money is going to be there in 5 years for Salah, never mind in 2. And Trent can fuck off to Madrid at the age of 30 if he wants, because he'll still be one of the best right backs in the world. It's just I definitely think they get done, and it's a matter of if one of them goes first, as in gets signed first. So if whichever one of them 3 goes, the most difficult one to get over the line is the first one. Doesn't matter who it is. If it's Trent that gets over the line first, fantastic. If it's Salah or if it's Van Dijk to get over the line first, fantastic. But the second one of them gets over the line, the two of them, the other 2 then become incrementally easier, because the second one then gets over the line, and then you have the 2 guys there, and they're like, come on, you might as well stay with us and keep the gang together. And then the pressure mounts on the third person to make that signing too. So it's a matter of just getting one over the line, and the rest will sort of fall into place at that point then. I'm just looking here at Rodri's injury, because apparently I think he might have done his MCL or his ACL, and if that's the case, fucking happy days. And
oh wow!
Yeah, I'm just looking at a fit. So there's a guy, FPL Physio is a guy on Twitter that goes down through it. Fell to the ground in a non-contact incident that was immediately in great pain. Look at it like this: muscular or clearly joint related. Injury mechanism seems to be internal rotation of the femur and foot, and tibia stays in position, which equals injury on either the MCL, medial meniscus, or an ACL. Intense pain can exclude a grade 1 and grade 2 to the MCL. Then we were looking at an ACL tear, MCL tear, and meniscus tear. They actually often come together, and people might say he walked it off, it's fine. You can walk off with an ACL rupture easily. I think Rodri might have ruptured his ACL and will be out for 8 to 12 months, or injured his medial meniscus and will be out for 3+ months, depending on how severe. We'll mute you. Massive loss for Man City. I bet he will be back next season, with the chances of early next year if minor meniscus. So that's huge, because I seen it happen myself in the game, and he didn't get touched. He was just running, and it's just like his knee twisted, and I was like, oh, that looks like an ACL. That looks like his knee's gone. But that's major for City, especially considering this was essentially his first game back, and he's gone out injured realistically. So this kind of opens it up for us a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Especially because how pivotal he's been for the City as well. So I wonder who will like sort of take his position if he is out for months. Maybe it'll be like a Gundogan or someone like that. yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see what they do with that, but yeah, that's crazy. That is, especially for non-contact as well.
Yeah, that's the major point about it. I just seen him running. I didn't see him bang a knee or anything, and it was his outside knee, which was away from the defender. And as he was kind of turning his hips, it's like his foot locked in the ground. And I was like, that has to be ligament damage. There's no way. And the fact that he was kind of holding behind his leg and kind of like rubbing it, trying to feel it, I guarantee you he felt it go, and that's why he was like rubbing it like this, trying to see if he could feel the ligament itself. But we are going to leave it there. It's been a bit of a short stream. It's just myself, Patricia, but we're going to log off early for this evening. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Just under 2,500 people watching across both YouTube and X. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. If you're watching on X, jump over to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out on any content. We have an exclusive interview with John Achterberg, who is the former Liverpool head goalkeeping coach. That is a live video on our page at the moment and will be out across all streaming platforms as well today. Should be out already as of the time of this live stream. So it'll be on Spotify, Amazon, and it'll also be on Apple Music too. So don't miss out on that, because it's an absolutely fantastic interview. But thanks for everybody so much for joining us on this Sunday evening. We will see you again tomorrow at 7:30. Thanks so much, and bye-bye.